Chapter 4 homework. There are only 5 problems, but a couple of them were pretty challenging. For the first one, it was asking you how far an object had gone, the distance it had traveled, when it was accelerating both vertically and horizontally. There's a couple ways to do this. The textbook ended up doing this by figuring out the vertical displacement and then the horizontal displacement and using Pythagorean theorem. I realized since those were going to be proportional equationally, I could actually just find the resultant of the accelerations. And therefore, I could then plug that once into a formula to find how far the object had gone. Both answers are the same, about 112 meters. For number 14, I like this problem. It's a pretty cool one. It'd be neat if someone had a drone and they were able to do something like this. But we've got a plane that's going 150 meters per second, 100 meters above the ground. They're trying to deliver supplies to people on a glacier, which could be dangerous, so they want them to get them close. So basically what you need to do is find the time for this object to reach the ground, and then knowing the plane's speed, you could work your way backward to find out how far away it should release them. Obviously, it has to release the supplies before it's directly above. Otherwise, they're going to go beyond. So the time for the package to fall would be about 4.5 seconds using this formula. And then this is a horizontal formula because velocity doesn't change there. Again, we're ridiculously ignoring air resistance for now. And so that comes out to about 680 meters. For number 3, the key thing with this, and this is basically a golf ball hit on the moon versus Earth, I use the range equation to think about it. So essentially, what we're doing is we're looking at the initial velocity sine of twice the angle, that should be 60 degrees, it looks like a 600, divided by g. That gave me 55.2 meters. Same speed is going to result in this going 6 times as far, since the moon's gravitational field is about 1/6 as much. I could have just multiplied by this by 6, but I did show you the math in there. So the additional distance was 276 meters. For this, it's asking about the time. So I recognized that the initial vertical velocity was going to be VO sine theta. Well, the change in vertical velocity divided by acceleration gives me time. So that would be the time to the tippy top. The time coming back down would be the same amount, so I'd add those together. So basically, I just derived this formula, kind of cool, to figure out the total time. So on Earth, that ended up being 2.55 seconds. On the moon, about 15.31 seconds. So 12.8 or 13 seconds-ish more on the moon when you subtract the 2.55 from the 15.31. Number 44 was, I think, the most complicated problem. So to get a picture of this helped. So it's initially, you've got something shot at 30 meters per second from the horizontal, or 30 meters per second at 60 degrees from the horizontal. It's going up to the cliff, and that gives it a vertical velocity of 26 meters per second, a horizontal velocity of 15 meters per second. The total time, I said, was 4 seconds. So knowing that, we can figure out the change in vertical height after 4 seconds using a formula like this. Delta x is just x final minus x initial. Really, it should be y, I suppose, if it's in the vertical direction, but don't worry about that. So if we've got acceleration down but your initial vertical velocity up, we need to be careful and keep one of those as positive and one as negative. So that means that the edge of the cliff is 25.6 meters high. The maximum height would happen when this vertical velocity goes to 0. So in this case, I figured out the time upward is change in vertical velocity divided by g. So it took 2.65 of that 4 seconds to go up. I can use this formula to figure out how far it goes. Now technically that's a little bit of a lie to figure out how far it goes up. It would really be for what would be happening if you start from rest and fall back down. But those answers are going to be the same. If you'd like me to explain that, I can show that to you. At any rate, with this, part C is asking the final speed as it hits. So this thing is, actually I should have drawn it where it's coming back down like that and arcing back down. The horizontal velocity is going to stay the same, 15 meters per second. The final vertical velocity, I can use this formula to find out, which is my initial vertical velocity plus acceleration times time. Initial vertical velocity is up. acceleration is down. So my final vertical velocity is 13.2 meters per second down. Put that in there. That's a Pythagorean theorem. That gets me a 20 meters per second final impact speed. If I wanted to find the angle of that, then I would use trig to get that. Number 49 is a little sneaky. I kind of like it. I think it's, I forget what's coming off here. They said sand. I like to think of it as like donuts, something like that. 15 degrees from the horizontal, 6 meters per second. So what I initially needed to do is break this into horizontal and vertical components. Horizontal 5.8, vertical 1.55. And then what I need to do is find the time for this to fall 3 meters. That's going to allow me to figure out this horizontal distance. So I got to be careful because this isn't starting at 0 meters per second vertically. It's actually heading down at 1.55 meters per second. So if it's got 3 meters to go, which I'm calling delta y, we know gravity is going to cause it to accelerate still, and it had an initial velocity. That'll allow me to find a final velocity right before it enters the pipe, and then I can use change in velocity over acceleration is equal to a time interval to figure out the time that it takes to get into the pipe. So I got my final vertical velocity, got my time interval, went from there. So that 0.64 seconds is now multiplied by the horizontal speed that I got earlier. Gave me about 3.7 meters. This is a pretty nice problem, actually. This one's a little messier. This one's a pretty nice problem. So hopefully those help. And if you have questions, ask in class or outside of class.